Hi, I'm Journey. I work as a graphic designer at a small agency downtown, and until last year, life was pretty normal. Then my mom died after a 2-year battle with cancer, and everything changed. We need to talk about the will reading tomorrow. My dad's voice was different on the phone, tense, like he was expecting something. I wasn't prepared for what the lawyer told us. Mom had left me her entire estate, the house, her investments, and a life insurance policy. All told, nearly $850,000. She worked her whole life to build this, I said, clutching the papers. She always said she wanted me to be secure. Your mother always did things her way, Dad muttered, not meeting my eyes. That was 3 months ago. Today, I'm pulling into Dad's driveway for our monthly dinner. He remarried Teresa 3 years ago, right after my college graduation. The timing wasn't great, but I tried to be supportive. Journey, come in, sweetie. Teresa's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Never does. Inside, her kids are sprawled across the living room. Megan, 19, barely looks up from her phone. Hey. Brandon, 17, at least stands up. What's up, Journey? Did you bring the car magazines I asked about? Right here. I hand him the stack. Found some good ones at that vintage shop downtown. Sweet. Thanks. He actually seems genuine, unlike his sister. Dinner's awkward. Dad keeps clearing his throat like he wants to say something but can't find the words. Teresa watches me like a hawk when she thinks I'm not looking. So, how's that big house? Must be nice having all that space to yourself, Megan says, twirling pasta around her fork. It's still weird being there without Mom. We should come visit sometime, Teresa says. Such a shame for that beautiful place to be so empty. Maybe we should all move in? Megan laughs, but nobody joins her. After dinner, I need to use the bathroom. On my way back, I hear Dad and Teresa in the kitchen. We deserve a portion of that money. Those investments were made during your marriage. I know. But Journey thinks it's all legitimately hers. Well, it's not. My kids have just as much right to that inheritance as she does. We need to get what's rightfully ours. I freeze, my heart pounding in my chest. The lawyer thinks we have a case, Dad continues. Just need to gather the right documentation. I slip away before they notice me. In the living room, Brandon is showing Megan something on his phone. I pretend everything's normal, but my mind is racing. When everyone moves to the patio for coffee, I notice Dad's laptop open on the desk. Something compels me to look. There's an email draft open addressed to someone named Leonard Hoffman, ESQ. Regarding challenge of inheritance distribution, as discussed, we believe we can prove that a portion of Sarah Miller's assets were accumulated during our marriage and should rightfully be distributed among all family members, including my stepchildren. My stomach drops. My own father is plotting against me. I closed the laptop quickly as I heard footsteps approaching. My hands were shaking. Hey, what are you doing at my desk? Dad walked in, coffee mug in hand. Planning to steal from your own daughter? Really? I turned the laptop around so he could see the email. His face went pale. You shouldn't be snooping through my private correspondence. And you shouldn't be plotting to take what Mom specifically left to me. Teresa rushed in. What's going on? Why are you shouting? She was going through your father's computer, Teresa said, arms crossed. Because I found this lovely draft about challenging my inheritance. The inheritance from my mother. Dad sighed heavily. Look, Journey, we need to discuss this reasonably. Your mother's assets were hers to give to whoever she wanted, and she wanted me to have them. Family means sharing, Teresa said with a sickeningly sweet voice. Don't you think your step-siblings deserve something too? A week later, Dad insisted I come over for dinner to talk things through. Big mistake. Pass the potatoes, Megan said, then smirked at me. So when I get my share, I'm thinking of buying that new Tesla. You're not getting a share of anything, I stabbed at my chicken. Come on, Journey, Dad leaned forward. We're talking about family equity here. Your mother would want everyone taken care of. Don't you dare tell me what Mom would want. I'm thinking of using my portion for college, Brandon chimed in. Maybe NYU. There is no your portion? I slammed my fork down. Teresa clicked her tongue. Such selfishness. I've always tried to welcome you as my own daughter. Cut the act, Teresa. You've wanted Mom's money since before she was even gone. We've actually spoken to Leonard Hoffman, Dad said calmly. He believes we have legal grounds to challenge the will based on marital property laws. You've got to be kidding me. The consultation was quite promising, Teresa added smugly. He thinks we could get at least 60% reallocated. I called my friend Alex immediately after leaving. They're actually trying to sue me for Mom's inheritance. I paced around my living room. That's messed up. You need to document everything. Save that email, record conversations if you legally can in your state. Keep all texts. Dad's completely under her thumb. Narcissists are good at manipulation. Your stepmom sounds like a classic case. The next day, my cousin Ryan called unexpectedly. Wanted to check if you're okay. Teresa's been telling everyone you're hoarding your mom's money and refusing to help family. She's what? At Uncle Bill's birthday last weekend. Said you've become materialistic and selfish since the inheritance. I wasn't even invited to that party. Yeah, that's the other thing. She told everyone you refused to come. I was still processing this betrayal when the certified letter arrived. The return address? Leonard Hoffman, attorney at law. Notice of intent to contest will distribution. The legal jargon swam before my eyes, but the message was clear. They were actually suing me. I found Claire Davis, an estate attorney, through a friend of my mother's. Her office was small but elegant, with degrees covering one wall. They don't have a leg to stand on legally. Claire studied the letter. Your mother's will is ironclad, but that doesn't mean they won't try to drag this out and pressure you into settling. I'm not giving them a penny. Good. Now we need evidence of their intentions. Florida is a two-party consent state for recordings, so be careful. I invited Dad for coffee the next day at a neutral location. I made sure to greet him with, I'm recording this conversation for my records. Is that okay? He nodded, not thinking much of it. Why are you doing this to me? I stirred my latte aggressively. It wasn't my idea, Journey. Teresa feels the kids deserve... So this whole scheme was Teresa's idea? Well, yes, initially. But she's right that the family should share the wealth. Family? The same family that's suing me? My phone recorded everything. That night, I called Ryan. Remember when Teresa organized Grandma's 80th birthday? There was that weird thing with the gift money. Oh yeah, Ryan said. Aunt Susan gave $500 for the party, but Teresa only spent like $200. The rest vanished. Any other incidents? Tons. Remember the family reunion fund? Or when she borrowed Uncle Pete's boat and returned it damaged? I've got photos and old family emails. I'll send everything. I created a folder labeled Teresa's Greatest Hits with Ryan's evidence. 3 days later, I confronted Teresa at her workplace, a real estate office. I needed to catch her off guard. How dare you show up here? She tried to usher me outside. I want to know why you're doing this. Because that money should benefit all of us, not just you. Mom's money was never yours to claim. That old bat never liked me anyway. I knew as soon as your father mentioned her condition was terminal that I needed a plan. My blood ran cold. You were plotting this before she even died? Teresa's eyes widened, realizing her mistake. That's not what I meant. Yes, it is. You've been planning this for years. Later that week, Brandon texted asking to meet at the park. He looked uncomfortable on the bench. Mom doesn't know I'm here. She'd kill me. What's going on, Brandon? She's been threatening Dad with divorce if he doesn't go through with this lawsuit. Says she'll take half of everything and leave him with nothing. That explains why he's going along with it. There's more. She's been coaching Megan and me on what to say in court. Wants us to talk about how close we were to your mom. But you barely knew her. Exactly. This whole thing feels gross. She even printed fake birthday cards with your mom's signature to make it look like we had a relationship. I took photos of the fake cards Brandon brought. The final piece came when I received an email from Dad's secretary, Vanessa, with whom he'd been having an affair. Your stepmom knows about us, Vanessa wrote. She's using it as leverage. Armed with everything, I met with Claire again. We're filing a countersuit, she said, organizing my evidence. Attempted fraud, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The paperwork felt heavy in my hands as I signed it. The courthouse loomed ahead as Claire and I climbed the steps. Remember, let me do most of the talking. When you testify, stick to facts, not emotions. What if Teresa lies on the stand? That's exactly what we want. The evidence will contradict her, and judges hate perjury. Inside, Dad avoided eye contact. Teresa glared daggers at me while their attorney, Hoffman, shuffled papers importantly. Megan sulked in the back row. Brandon wasn't there. All rise for Judge Eleanor Palmer. Judge Palmer reviewed both cases, then eyed Teresa and Dad sternly. These are serious accusations on both sides. Hoffman presented their case first, painting me as the greedy daughter hoarding family assets. Miss Miller simply wants what's fair for all the children, he concluded. When Claire's turn came, she methodically dismantled their argument. Your Honor, we have evidence proving this was a coordinated attempt to defraud my client. The recording of Dad admitting it was Teresa's idea played loudly. His face crumpled. We also have documented proof that Mrs. Miller was planning this scheme before Miss Walker's mother had even passed away. Claire displayed the text messages from Brandon and emails from Vanessa. And finally, these forged birthday cards allegedly from the deceased. Teresa jumped to her feet. Those little ingrates. After everything I've done, they betray me? And that secretary? She's been trying to steal my husband for years. Mrs. Miller, control yourself, Judge Palmer warned. No, I've put up with that woman's brat for years. Her mother always thought she was too good for us. That money should be shared. Your Honor, Teresa continued ranting, I deserve that money. I've been planning. Mrs. Miller, sit down immediately. After a short recess, Judge Palmer returned with her decision. I'm dismissing the plaintiff's case entirely. The will stands as written. Furthermore, I'm imposing sanctions for bringing a frivolous lawsuit and attempted fraud. Teresa gasped audibly. Mr. Miller and Mrs. Miller are ordered to pay $15,000 in legal fees and $10,000 in punitive damages. Outside, Uncle Bill approached me. We all got your email with the evidence. The family's behind you, kiddo. We had no idea what Teresa was doing, Aunt Susan added. She's been spreading lies about you for years. 2 months later, I launched the Sarah Walker Memorial Foundation for single mothers battling cancer. At the opening ceremony, Ryan hugged me. Your mom would be proud. Is it weird that I haven't heard from Dad since the court date? He made his choice. So did you. Brandon showed up unexpectedly. Mom and Dad separated. She's furious about losing. Megan's staying with her, but I wanted to see what you're doing here. No hard feelings? Nah, Mom's plans were always messed up. This foundation thing is pretty cool. As I cut the ribbon on the new foundation office, I felt lighter than I had in a year. The inheritance wasn't just money. It was Mom's final gift, her way of protecting me even after she was gone. And now, it would help others too. Looking around at the supportive faces, Claire, Ryan, Alex, even Brandon, I realized I'd found my own kind of justice. Not just in court, but in refusing to let bitterness consume me the way it had consumed Teresa. What would you have done if you discovered your step-parent had been plotting to take your inheritance before your parent even passed away? Would you have fought back in court like Journey did, or tried to compromise to keep family peace? If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories of people standing up for themselves against toxic family members. Share your thoughts in the comments below.